Yo, this is Terrance Gaines, aka Brother Tech,
And this is Nica Montford, aka Tech Savvy Diva.
and welcome back to another episode of the Snob OS Show, the show for Apple snobs, where we talk all things Apple and then some. We definitely want to thank you back. This is episode 130. We took a little break last week, had a lot of stuff going on. As you can tell, Nica is a little bit different color there. She's been doing some island hopping. So, on top of that, on top of Juneteenth, on top of Father's Day, on top of all the other stuff was going on, we kind of took a break for last week. But we are back. So we definitely want to thank you for joining us. And without further ado, let's get right into the show. So, like I mentioned, we were off last week, but didn't too much happen in the Apple news. So we'll get into some of the stuff that we put in the notes for the week prior. We're going to continue those over because there's some interesting things, nothing special, but some things we definitely want to let you know about. First and foremost, this is one thing that was bugging me, but I'm glad it looks like they're going to address it in iOS 15, printing capabilities. With iOS, I would say always back to iOS 13 and AirPrint and a lot of compatible printers, they made it easier for you to print directly from your phone, directly from your tablet onto a printer that had AirPrint capabilities, but it was super limited. When you print when you go to print something traditionally, it gives you the option to change the to orientation. It gives you the option to change the printer. It gives the option to select specific pages. And some of that is evident in iOS when you go to print. But as far as photos are concerned, you really don't get any options as far as actually printing photos from your phone, from your tablet. So it looks like iOS 15 is going to address some of those issues. And I just thought I'd give you some of the features. So I'm reading a story from iMore. It says the iPhone print panel has been the same for the longest I can remember, but iOS 15 is changing everything up and putting options and multi-page print previews front and center, just waiting for it to be tapped. It's pretty dynamic change, but it's easy to see why Apple didn't make a big deal about it. WWDC. So basically what they're talking about is, in addition to being able to select which printer, in addition to being able to select page range, in addition to being able to select whether it be black or white, with iOS 15, they're going to start to give you previews on the left side, because that's something that they didn't have as far as a print preview. And of course, a print preview is important when you're actually printing photos, to make sure it's not anything being cut off, it's not zoomed in, it's not bled out or anything like that. So what I want to read here says, anyone printing from an iOS 15 iPhone will now immediately get the option to change various settings, including orientation, media and quality, and more. A multi-page preview is visible, and users can tap individual pages to mark them for printing. Might not sound like much, but it's a big improvement over what's being offered today. So that was just something I definitely wanted to see. Of course, as time goes on, we'll see more and more things being talked about, because iOS 15 is still a beta. I really don't like to get into all the details in a beta, because something could definitely change between now and when things are launched in September. But this one, because I use it a lot, being a little bit selfish and biased, definitely want to let people know that better printing options will be coming in iOS 15.
Nice. I really don't use the printing, but I do think, especially kind of looking at the screenshot that is in the article, you're getting the preview now. So I think that's really it's giving it more of the actual feel of printing from like your desktop or
Right,
your
right.
laptop.
In addition, it gives you the media and quality, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
I do a fair amount of printing directly to photo paper,
Mm-hmm.
but again, with the ability not having that there, you're kind of assuming that the printer will recognize that I have photo paper in the little tray, and it will print out accordingly. That's not foolproof. So being able to go into these print options in iOS 15 and select 4x6, photo glossy or matte photo paper, that's definitely a benefit a lot of people will, appreciate, you know, present company included, when you go to print something from iOS 15. So I just want to let people know that that's one of the features. Again, iOS 15 probably won't be announced or launched until September when they announced the new iPhone 13, quote unquote.
And hopefully the new, bigger MacBook Pros, but we'll talk about that
Right,
later.
we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. One of the things also that Apple announced last week or in the last 2 weeks was the fact that Apple launches podcast subscriptions. So now you can actually go in and if you are a creator or if you are a follower of a podcast on Apple Podcasts, you can actually go in and subscribe and purchase I guess it'll be a premium version. So, as you know, you can listen to any podcast for free. But if that particular content creator, that particular podcast wants to give you additional features like a extra show or give you inside behind the scenes of making the show or whatever the case.
Similar to our
Yes,
Snobbish show,
exactly.
which is for our Patreons. And if you want to get in on that, you have to become a Patreon.
Right. So, in addition to supporting shows like the Snobboys podcast, we'll give you the details about joining our Patreon. You can if we wanted to, as a show ourselves, we could actually go into Apple Podcasts and set up premium content there. Of course, listeners subscribe to more channels. The Listen Now tab expands new roles, provides easy access to all subscription content. So basically, to give you a easier way to access that content once you subscribe to it. I haven't seen anything. Of course, Apple gets 30% commission off the top, and that's not unlikely of Apple because they do it for iPhone apps, iPad apps, a couple other things. I guess what I was getting to was I didn't see if they limit what creators could offer as far as premium content. Would it be capped off at a certain amount? So could we offer a $100 preview subscription to where they get to follow us around all week long, or does it cap it off at a certain amount? What types of content can you offer? Is it just additional shows, things of that nature. So I didn't get into that. It does say Apple Podcast subscriptions also include the ability for podcast creators and users to create channels, but that's just a collection of different shows. So they really don't say maybe an ad-free version of the show. Again,
yeah, that's what it says, that you receive. It says now listeners can decide to subscribe to a monthly subscription for their favorite show, and by doing so receive an ad-free listening experience with bonus content.
Gotcha. So it's ad-free bonus content. So again, what I guess I was getting to, we ain't big time like that to where we have advertisers yet. And then not only do we don't have advertisers, but I'm pretty sure the higher you get into the rankings of Apple, I think maybe Apple may even overlay ads over your podcast. So if we offered a subscription to our show and we were big time like that, not only would you get ad-free versions of advertisers that reach out to our show directly, you wouldn't hear the advertisers that Apple themselves overlay over podcasts. So I guess, you add those up, especially if you're listening to a super popular show, you could get 3 to 5, 10 minutes worth of advertising versus you paying for the subscription. You don't have to listen to any of that. So I can definitely see that being a benefit for those big time podcasts. Mm-hmm. But until then, you can definitely support the SnobOS show by going to patreon.com/SnobOS, and we won't treat you like Apple will. So
right.
Just want to let people aware of that. Like I said, the last thing that we mentioned in the show is, when will these new larger M1 or M2 or whatever they call the newer generation,
M1X, whatever they're calling
M1X, we were all waiting for it for WWDC. They didn't mention anything as far as hardware was concerned at WWDC, so people are still looking. So
i.e. me.
Right. So this link that I put up, they kind of tried to go back in time and show you all the different times of the month or throughout the year that Mac did release Mac models. So it looks like, from what I can gather from this chart that we're putting, I found it in ZDNet. Basically, they don't tell you when the newer Macs are going to be released. These 2016, I mean, not 2016, 16-inch M1X Macs. But if you look at this chart, the way they lay it out, based on historical patterns and a comprehensive analysis conducted by Steve, whoever Steve is, our Cynthia Global supercomputer hidden deep within ZD's top secret underground layer, it's unlikely we'll get anything before November. So it sounds like in September they'll announce the iPhone 13, Apple Watch. What would this be? 7, I think. Maybe
Yes.
maybe a new iPad. And then after that, after we sit through and order them and pre-order, get all the deliveries, they get that situated, then maybe they'll do another event in November, probably just in time for Black Friday,
Black
that whole
Friday.
Cyber Monday shopping period. Then they'll announce this 16-inch newer version, newer generation M1 Mac. So I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
looking at this chart, it looks like historically it's been October,
Right.
when they do the releases. But as of recent, it looks mostly,
Wh-
like November,
Right. So the chart we're
definitely
looking
fourth
at,
quarter.
yeah, the chart we're looking at, it shows a steady pattern in October, and then after 2017, it gets kind of scattered again.
Hmm.
So but from that, I guess they were able to deduct from 2018, 19 on back. It looks like they were doing them in November. So it looks like you'll have to wait a little bit longer, which
That gives you
maybe
time to
be,
save your money.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Silver lining gives you a little bit more time to save up your money. By that time, I'll probably be ready to get one because, like I mentioned in the pre-show, if you can hear, my fan is humming, so I may need a newer generation Mac to run this podcast without it trying to take off because the M1 Max more power but more power efficient. So be able to run a podcast kind of quietly. So and that'll give
Yeah,
me
because
some. Go ahead.
I was able to convince one of my friends. She's a Android user, but her sons have switched over to Apple. So she got them. One got the M1 Air for, I think, a birthday or Christmas, and then the other son got the M1 Air for his. Technically, it was for his birthday, but she bought it, when he graduated,
Okay.
from college. And they are like, these are amazing.
Right. Right. So yeah, I may be fed up with my Mac by then. I've had it since 2016 and I've taken good care of it, but now, like I said, we've recently started to add video, add live streaming, and I think that's where my Mac's like, all right, bro.
Doing too much.
And Skype and all this other stuff, it's like, yeah, you're doing too, and YouTube, and it's like, all right, you're doing too much. I this all I
Give
can
me a
take.
break.
Yeah,
I'm doing
yeah,
the best I
yeah.
can.
So this may be a hand me down to the wife and then pass it on, on down to the kids. I may just have to come up with a business case to the CFO of the family as to why I need a newer Mac. All
Mhm.
right. All right. So that is it for the lowdown. We'll move right into second string where we talk all things tech in general. So I know you've been busy these past couple days, just getting back from vacation. Were you able to check out what was available on Amazon Prime Day? For those who don't,
I was not. I had a couple people ask me, so hey, what do I need to buy? And I'm like, I have no clue.
right?
I haven't. I brought my iPad with me because I was going to read on the trip. The iPad pretty much stayed in the bag the whole time.
Right. Right.
And of course, no laptop. So it was just pretty much my phone. And I was like, I'm going to be very present in this trip. It's been a long time since I've been able to go somewhere fun like this. So I was like, I'm going to focus in the moment. So short
Gotcha.
answer, I have no idea what happened with Amazon Prime.
Well, so for those who don't know, Amazon Prime Day was the 21st and the 22nd. So it was actually kind of 2 days. Same thing. They kind of offer like lightning deals to where only for a short amount of time you can get on this super deal. But overall, they kind of offer discounts throughout everything that Amazon offers. Mostly TVs, a lot of electronics. Of course, Apple stuff they really didn't touch that much. But I was able to actually. Our family is big, big on air fryers. So we've had our air fryer for a year, maybe a little bit over a year, and it was
Mm-hmm.
showing its age. I mean, to the
Mm-hmm.
point to where, you first turn it on. I mean, that thing was loud. You had to preheat the air fryer because we use it so much. So I actually found a discount on a upgraded air fryer with the looks. It looks like a
Rotisserie.
yes, like a big toaster oven, but
Mm.
you can also air fry. So you can air fry, you can roast, you can bake and broil. So it's almost like
Nice.
a small oven, and it kind of comes in handy because my girls are at the age where they're going to start doing a lot of cooking. So, stuff like not gourmet meals, but, chicken nuggets, French fries,
Mm-hmm.
they can put frozen pizza in there now because it's big enough. They can even, start to do like breakfast. So like you put bacon in there, so they're at home in the summertime. So they're kind of in control of their own diet. So if they want to make, you know, a toasted
Frozen waffles or
sandwich.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. They can toast waffles. They can kind of do that, and we feel comfortable because it's not the oven, right? So
Right.
it's just like it's a toaster oven. It is a toaster convection air fryer combo, but it's less intimidating than that big oven sitting right
Yeah.
there. So that'll encourage especially my middle child. She's a little
She's not
scary.
about that life.
Yeah, she's a little scary, a little worry wart. So anytime we tell her to even preheat the oven, she kind of gets antsy, right? So maybe
Mm-hmm.
this larger air fryer, because she can use the air fryer. So this
Mm-hmm.
will her using this newer version more. So maybe get her a little excited about, or comfortable rather,
Mm-hmm.
about cooking more. So that get her to get some more independence. So
Yeah.
that's what I picked up in Amazon Prime Day. Some of the things that I saw that was interesting probably could have helped on your trip. One of my favorite charging accessory makers, Anchor, they sell a lot of products on Amazon. So they had this looks like a power brick for a
Mm-hmm.
MacBook, but it has USB-C, has two USB-C ports and then a USB-A port to where you can charge a USB-C MacBook,
Mm.
USB-C iPad Pro, and like Apple Watch and like an iPhone. So instead of having all those different bricks that you take with you on, traveling, you can have this one brick. I call it a brick, but it's like a power adapter about that
Mm-hmm.
big, and it has like the 3 or 4 ports to where you can plug everything into it. So, for instance, like I mentioned in the pre-show, we're going to go to the beach, in July, and it's going to be a couple of days, and I'm into the stock market, right? So I definitely want to, in the morning, kind of keep an eye on, some of my
What's going
stocks,
on?
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably carry my iPad and kind of watch that in the morning. So in addition to my iPhone, in addition to my Apple Watch, in addition to my headphones that I'm going to probably take to the beach, I also have my iPad. So I definitely, that was something to be interesting. And like I said, it had a big deal on a big sale on it to where
Mm-hmm.
I think it's normally like $90. They had it down to like 50 or 60. So,
Nice. Because I know the one that I have, it's just for, USB B. It's just a regular USB port.
right. US, right.
And it was, I had a cord that would work for my Apple Watch, and I have like a lightning cable that will still plug into my iPhone, but I've gotten so used to the rapid charging of the USB-C port, it's kind of hard to go back, but I was like, man, this it helped, when we're out for my phone, but for anything else, it wasn't, very helpful without the USB-C.
Right, right. So this anchor, I have to look and see what the actual name of it. But if you go on Amazon and search Anchor USB C adapter, they'll show you like all the different ones. They've got the one just the singular with the rapid charging, but then they've got the multiple ones to where you can like take this one brick and whatever cable needs to go where, you bring the cable, but it all plugs into one outlet. So that was on sale for Amazon Prime Day. And like I said, a couple other things. I helped a client find a curved monitor. She took advantage of that Amazon Prime Day deal. So stuff like that. It wasn't there wasn't a runaway deal that all the websites was talking about. Probably get the deepest discounts you could probably get was on Amazon products. So any sort of their Echoes, their smart speakers, any of their video video equipment, because they've got a couple video tablets to where you can communicate with your friends and family over video. They still make tablets for the Nooks for reading. So if you use a tablet just to read books or audiobooks, you probably get the deepest discounts through those. And then everything else is kind of whatever you were interested in or already looking for. You would probably wait until Amazon Prime Day to get that before you go look for someplace else. And that was about it.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next thing, we kind of talked about Nica's experience as it relates to her traveling and the all the different paperwork that she had to carry with her to prove that she was actually COVID free. So speaking of COVID, it looks like if you are vaccinated, you might want to go over to Verizon to see if they're offering some discounts for you being vaccinated, specifically AirPods Pro. So, of course, they are the most popular headphones that Apple's makes out of between Beats, between the AirPods Max, the regular AirPods. The AirPods Pro are the most popular ones. They were offering a discount as of this past weekend, so they'll probably still be offering some deals. Oh, it says, let me read here. The offer is also valid for first responders, nurses, teachers, and military members. Any customers who are eligible will have from June 15th to July 31st to fill out a questionnaire and receive a promo code, which can be redeemed until August 15th, while accessories last, of course. Verizon says accessories whose prices end in 97-cent can't. I don't know what that means. So anyway, if you are looking for AirPods Pro, you also, if you're interested in Sony makes WH-1000 XM4s, noise canceling headphones, and Anchor. I just talked about them. Anchor has a pair of Liberty 2 headphones. So if you are looking for some discounts on AirPods Pro or any sort of headphones, whether it be for late Father's Day gift, a late graduation gift, and you are vaccinated, you might want to go to Verizon's website, and we'll make sure we put a link in the show notes so you can get a discount for being vaccinated, because again, it looks like they want as many people vaccinated as possible, right? Because everybody is itching to get outside. And I said, like we mentioned in the pre-show, there are some people who are so happy to be outside that a lot of people do not know how to act.
They do not. I know firsthand, unfortunately.
All right. So the last thing up, I don't know, have you seen this, but have you seen?
I have. I have the app.
Oh, do you? Okay. All right. So the new popular, the app, the It app, the trendy app that everybody's been using is this app called, I think it's called Voila.
Voila.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And basically what it does is you can use it to change your face into what I can only explain as a Disney princess. Mm-hmm. Maybe Disney princess / anime character, to where it smooths out your face. It gives you the bigger cartoonish eyes. But, some of the pictures that I've seen, you can still tell it's you. So it's like an emoji, but think of it like a Disney princess emoji.
They make you a cartoon, basically. And there's different types of cartoon faces. Mm-hmm. If you want to get like the big eye, like Disney princess part.
Okay.
If you want to get like a historical, kind of look. Okay. There are different types of faces or cartoons you can get made of yourself.
Okay. So again, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it is popular, And if you remember, maybe like a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
when we
It
were,
made you older.
yeah, the trendy one back then was it aged you, so you made you look older. The problem with that app was data security questions as to, since this company talking about the age app, I forget the name of it, we couldn't, as United States was having this big back and forth with China. The company that ran this app was from China, and we couldn't figure out what they were doing with our data. Were they storing it? Were they keeping it? Were they making a collection? You know, were they going to use this for artificial intelligence and you know, all these crazy things? We couldn't get a straight answer. You know, companies reached out. You know, this whole thing. You know, we wasn't sure. So of course, with this new app, fast forward to, you know, now everybody's using this Voila app to cartoonize themselves. I think the same questions are starting to pop up now. So it's like, all right, we've been through this before. We couldn't get a straight answer. Now we've moved on to this new app. What's going on with our data? And it looks
Mm-hmm.
like this one is less, this is more black and white than that
Mm-hmm.
other one, to where, let me read down to the data collection part. So, reading from USA Today, it says Voilà's privacy policy is similar to most other face changing apps, telling users that they do collect data and photos upload to the app. But it looks like Voila says it deletes after 24 to 48 hours. However, there's no public verification on it. So, you know, according to the app's word, for lack of a better term, they tell you that yes, we do upload your data, we do collect it. So you have to, I'm assuming, I haven't used it, in order for them to cartoon your face, you have to take a picture and upload it to their website. But according to Voila, it says they delete the pictures 24 to 48 hours after. So again, they are collecting our data, but they're telling us, you know, according to what they're saying, is they are actually deleting the data after a certain amount of time. So of course, again, they
Yeah.
had to put that out there because, you know, we've starting to be more concerned about our data. You know, you can tell from Apple, they're getting heavy on data security, data privacy, which is kind of throwing up a, you know, kerfuffle between them and Facebook. So all that to say, Americans, people in general, are starting to be more concerned about our data. So an app that is super popular, you know, I think those questions are going to start to be commonplace.
Yeah, so what I did was, because you can, give them access to your photo library, or you can take a picture. So I did the access to the photo library, but I only gave them access to a certain folder. So because I knew it was kind of like selfies, so I moved a couple of pictures over just to kind of try it out, to kind of see what it was, and I only gave them access to, certain pictures. And it, you can tell it goes to like a little processing. It's, you know because you can, after you upload it, it gives you the image. You can kind of like toggle between different types of faces. Like there's like a
Right.
villain one,
Got you.
a baby one, different types of things that they would need to store the image to be able to toggle across the different, I guess, distortions of the face.
Got you. Yeah. So yeah, I guess, you know, I just wanted to put that out there because we are becoming more concerned about our data, and this is a super popular app that does collect images, which, you know, who knows in 5, 10 years and now what sort of technology we'll have out there that'll be able to do face recognition, because it's coming, right? We
Yeah.
can't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're going to figure out to do something with facial recognition. We're already using it.
So
Go ahead.
so it's already there, because I am in the global entry program, with Border Patrol. So it means you get to kind of like cut the line when you come back in the country. So when I got back in the country, they have like a certain row of kiosks for people who are only in the trusted traveler known program, whatever it's called. So I went up to it, I put my passport in there, and then it scanned my passport. And before it even finished scanning my passport, it had taken a picture of my face, and it printed out the receipt, and it had all of my information on the receipt. So I
Right.
think they used the passport maybe to verify, but when they took the picture of my face, because that's what they did first, they already had my information.
Right, right. So, it's already
It's
like
there.
Nica mentioned,
Yeah.
it's already here. So, giving access to, your biometrics, i.e. your
Hmm.
face, will become even more prominent. So,
Yep.
that will be, data collecting, worthwhile data collecting information that you may want to be a little bit more
Be
aware
careful.
of who is collecting your face, i.e., an app that makes a cartoon of yourself. What else are
Right.
they doing with that? According to this, they're not doing much, but that's something you need to be aware about because facial recognition biometrics is going to become even more commonplace. So instead of
Yep.
them trying to scam you out of your social security number, instead of them trying to scam you out of your birth certificate or your mother's maiden name or your security questions,
They just gonna
now
take your
they're
whole
gonna be trying to
face.
get your face. So you just need to be careful, be aware of what apps, what services are doing what now with your face.
Yeah, and with all this augmented reality, I can easily see how they can have an image of your face, and if you're like need to be something to be scanned with that augmented reality, just slide that face on over to cover theirs in the augmented reality and do whatever, they need to do with your face.
Right, right. So, yep, be aware. Stuff is out there.
Be vigilant.
Yep.
Have
All right.
fun, but be vigilant.
Yep. So that's it for second string, where we talk all things tech. Let's move into for the culture. This one was a story that was again that it's kind of old now. I think we've kind of moved on. You know how the internet works, but I wanted to
Mhm.
get your opinions because it's almost like a karma type thing.
Mhm.
Chrissy Teigen, she has been a popular social media, influencer, more outspoken, more so than other athletes, more so than any other entertainers, and she has been in the forefront of, calling people to task when it comes to previous social media tweets and things of that nature. If I recall, she not led is not the right word, but she was outspoken for another chef. I think she had a book, a cookbook or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yep.
she had a cookbook or something, and then some other lady, was doing I don't know if it was a competing cookbook or something, but she got into a beef with this other chef or something. I don't know if it was hate. I don't know if it was whatever the case may be, but Chrissy Teigen, did a good job of exposing this person for what they were on social media, and that kind of I don't want to say the word canceled because I don't think it went that far.
Nobody ever gets canceled.
Right,
Sorry,
right. But
people.
at the same time, Chrissy Teigen knows how to use social media to, advance, whether it be something personal or just general, something that needs to be advanced. So, of course, I mentioned karma, and I don't want to necessarily automatically call it karma, but, you
That's what
know,
it is.
she did a couple weeks ago issue a lengthy apology because some of her previous tweets had resurfaced. And I'm not talking about, you know, weird,
Your hair
out.
is ugly. Your
Right,
outfit isn't
right.
cute. Yeah.
I mean, she was actually putting out death threats, for lack of a better
Telling people to
term.
kill themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, doing,
Teenagers. A
right,
teenager.
exactly. Doing more than just outing them publicly, but then going into their direct
Yes.
mentions
Yeah.
and like really, really advocating, for lack of a better term, for people like Nika mentioned, kill yourself and making fun of people and, piling on to random people. I think she referred to, what was that young girl's name?
Kobajane Wallace, she
Yes.
called her a see you next Tuesday
Right.
because this child, she was 9, because this child wanted them to pronounce her name correctly because she was up for an Oscar and she
Right.
was getting a lot of press. So she called a 9-year-old little black girl that. And with this whole story, as you go further, what I'm a little annoyed about is they're framing it around, what happened with Courtney Stoughton, who now identifies as non-binary,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a whole pile of drama with her. But they are leaving out the fact that Courtney was, 15, 16 when, Chrissy Teigen was doing all this to her.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, she was harassing a 9-year-old black child, a
Right.
baby. She was 9.
Right. So you get, I get where you're going to, where it seems like that is more of an important story than, not say
the
more
the
important.
gender.
Right.
It's more I think you used the right word, important. In this culture, if you talk about someone's sexuality,
Right.
what their gender is, that pretty much, from where society is now,
Right.
supersedes
Race.
racism.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that seems like that's a little bit more dramatic. Talking about a 9-year-old, referring to them as that, like a no word, like a for real taboo word,
Mm-hmm.
versus and I'm not saying it's not as important. I'm not saying it's unimportant, but yeah, it seems like that there's more worse things that Chrissy Teigen did than what
Mm-hmm.
kind of sparked this whole
This.
you resurface of her actually going and apologizing. So she put out this lengthy apology, said, I was a terrible person. I was really trying to be part of the in crowd and pop culture, and, peer pressure, led me to do all these things because it made me cool and eager to join a pop culture pylon,
But you was
so
in your
I,
30s, girl.
right, right. So the question that I wanted to ask you specifically is, not trying to mention, cancel culture or anything like that, but is there a such thing as a redemption when it comes to social media, when it comes to old tweets? So if somebody puts out an old tweet about whatever, something offensive, they time passes, they either become more popular or they're running for political office or they're up for an award,
Mm-hmm.
and these new tweets surface and the person takes ownership, and it appears from what I can tell, she took ownership and said, that was wrong. How dare, I'm ashamed. I regret all of it. I was a terrible person. I've grown, I've changed, yada, yada, yada. Right.
Mm-hmm.
After they've done that, is there redemption?
For non-black people, yes, there's redemption.
Okay. Okay.
I think we've seen it with the situation that happened with the Teen Vogue editor, who got fired
Right.
because of some of her previous tweets about Asian people, I believe.
Right.
And
And
this was
those are
all
kind of
during the height of the Asian hate. But at
right.
the same time, another high-profile person that worked at Teen Vogue as well, who was Asian, had some tweets resurface of some racist things she said, but she got to keep her job.
Right.
So both of these were non-white people. You have the black person who got immediately, fired and let go, and, was a big uproar. But then
Right.
you have this other non-white person who is non-black as well, who had the exact same type of thing happen,
Wow.
but she got to keep her job and it wasn't as big of a blow up. My thing with Chrissy Teigen is, this happened when she was a full grown adult.
Okay.
She is telling a child to kill herself,
Right.
who was already a child who had she, got married to essentially a man who groomed her. He was 50, she was 16. Her parents allowed it. He was abusive to her. All of this was out there. The tweets were still up. She still had them, because she does go by they, them. She still had them, blocked. She never apologized directly to them. She only apologized when the tweets resurfaced and she lost her Target sponsorship.
Right.
She
Okay.
had a couple of other things that, big endorsements and sponsorships for her cookware or cookbooks. She only came out with this apology when it started to run her pockets.
Right. Got you.
Had those companies kept her, I don't think she would have done all of this. And
Right.
even after she did the apology, she came back and was still kind of honestly doubling down on it and not taking full ownership. And then her husband, John Legend, I was quite surprised. Well, I guess maybe not surprised because that is his wife. But he was like, she apologized, just leave her alone, that type of thing. And I'm like, she has black children. You're telling a black child,
Right.
you're calling her a
Right.
disgusting name,
Right.
and you have black children.
Right.
I'm, people feel the way they feel about it, but unfortunately, in this society, if you are biracial, whether it's white and black, Asian and
Whatever.
black, you know, excuse me, whatever the case may be, society still sees those children as black. You can
Right.
call them biracial, they can identify as biracial, but unfortunately, society sees them as black. And you have these two black children, and you thought it was okay to do this to this other black child for laughs,
For
for jokes.
laughs. Right.
And now you want to come back and apologize. She's not apologizing to me.
Right.
It's not, directed to me, but I don't accept it because of the fact that she only did this when it started to directly affect her money.
Right. Right. What bothers me about Chrissy Teigen is, like I mentioned before, she has been the type of person
She's been
to,
a Twitter troll.
well, not just Twitter troll. She's been the type of person to use social media to whether it be digging up old tweets, to advance her career at
Mhm.
somebody else,
His expense.
at somebody else's expense by recalling old tweets, old statements, old things of that nature. So it's amazing to me that somebody who is savvy enough to know how social media works and then would try to use it to their advantage would do that knowing that these skeletons exist, right? Me personally, if I had these skeletons, I wouldn't say nothing to nobody on
I
Twitter
would be
about
quiet.
anything because I know,
What you've
okay,
done.
these things are going to get dug up. So it's very hypocritical of me to call somebody out on their social media posts or whatever the case may be, knowing I got this stuff in the closet. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, hypocritical, but it's
Hmm.
also odd that she would go this hard
I know. On people just and children.
and
I mean,
then
she's gone hard at other adults, but to
right,
go this hard at kids
right,
and leave it up,
right, knowing that she is this social media, one of the most social media savvy
she knows how
entertainers
this
out
works. None
there.
of this is surprising to her.
Right,
And she's still, and that's why I was like, I don't buy it.
right,
Because she knew what she was doing. She knows how social media works. She just got away with it for so long that she thought that she was untouchable, I think.
right, and that could be some of it too. That she's untouchable. There, one, people maybe weren't going to look, and two, she had this new love that they were going to overlook them, but she has learned that that is not the case. So it'll
Right.
be interesting to see, as social media savvy as she is, where does she go from here?
I
If
think
she,
with time she'll come back and be fine.
yeah,
I think she'll, shed her tears and all of those things, and I think she'll eventually be welcomed back because, like I said, nobody ever gets canceled
yeah,
unless you let.
yeah, because they were very vocal on social media, which was surprising to a lot of people. When that pregnancy loss, they
Hmm.
shared that stuff publicly, and again, like I said, knowing I got all this stuff in the back
In
in
your
this,
back pocket? Mm-mm.
it's amazing how open and social she was on social media. I
It
would
goes to
be,
show the privilege, really,
yeah,
that she didn't think that, nothing was going to happen to
yeah,
her.
yeah. So I don't want to call it karma because well, I mean, I can't call it karma, but I guess it's just a warning to people out here on social media, and not just, again, I'm not just talking about you tweeting about your day You know, sharing pictures of your family and friends, you know, and, you know, you just, you know, taking part in this experiment of social media. People who are actually utilizing social media as a tool to advance a career, to make a name for themselves, to sell products, to speak out for things you believe in. Because again, like I mean, there's one thing to say, you know, oh, the Hawks going to the finals. That's social media in the sense that it's social and it's media. That's to me, and you taking sharing pictures of your kid's birthday, or you know, taking pictures of Father's Day, showing you with your dad. That's different than, you know, you being this leader, or you being this influencer, or you being this person that uses social media to get paid. I hope stories like this is a warning to people. You know, the whole you is going to come out sooner or later. You cannot go onto social media and think you're going to create this avatar, this version of you, and think that is the only version that people are going to see, because that is not going to be the case. Time and time and time and time
That
again.
facade is gonna fall, that mask is gonna fall, and the true self
Right.
is inevitably gonna come out. And
Espe-
I just can't get over,
right.
you have all this money, you have all this privilege, and this is what you choose to do?
Right. Yep. 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 So again, like you said, you know, we'll change the channel. We've already changed the channel. You know, we're on the other stuff.
Something else.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So she'll you know, slide back in and she'll be okay. Now she may not be the same social media darling as she was, because this stuff is never going away.
Never.
You know, and for, you know, if it ever resurfaces, she's just gonna have to hold that L again, because
She gonna take the L every single time.
because what you can't say is, oh, we already talked about that. Oh, I already apologized. Kevin Hart is a prime example of, every time it comes back up, you're going to have to hold that L. You can't be like, I ain't apologizing no more. I ain't.
They see what happened with Kevin Hart.
Yep.
He tried to fight it, but he had to keep taking that every time it came back.
Yep. So again, it's just that lesson, you know, I don't understand why people can't do unto others as you would have them do to you. You know, why be that person and then expect something different from anybody else? Anyway, that's, yeah. She'll come back and she'll be okay. Like I mentioned, she won't be the same social media darling as she was, but she'll be okay. All right. So that is it for the culture. We'll move into the hookup. It is summertime for my kids. They are the internet age kids, to where, you know, everything is done on the internet nowadays instead of actually doing stuff in the real world.
Right.
You know, summer camp, you know, previously we would send them to summer camp. We probably still would be sending them to some type of summer camp, but with COVID happening, COVID is not over. We have decided,
not by a long shot.
right. We have decided this summer not to send them to in-person summer camp. We'll probably revisit the idea of them going back to school in person in the fall. But for now, we're gonna still keep them at home. But we still want them to participate in some sort of public activity. So I found this website called OutSchool, OUTSCHOOL, and basically it is online summer camp for, you know, for kids, for any type of thing you want to learn. Now, of course, they're not going to do summer sports, which is a lot of people go to summer camp and they do summer sports, but it's not going to be that. But they really kind of model it as a summer camp, online summer camp. So anything you want to learn, you know, anything you want your kids to be exposed to, you can probably go to this OutSchool website and sign your kids up to, you know, summer camp for kids. You know, some of them last for a day, some of them last for 2 or 3 days consecutively, or some of them go weekly, like 1 day a week for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I've actually went in and signed my kids up this summer for a couple classes. I got them in, both of my daughters, I got them into a camp to learn iMovie. Because, like I mentioned, we are going on a family trip to the beach later this summer, and I proposed a challenge to them. I was like, look, y'all tech savvy, you got your iPads, you got your iPhones. What I want you to do is I want you to take video footage of our summer trip to the beach, get all this video footage, and I've signed you up for this course, and you're going to learn iMovie. So once you're done getting your video footage, once you're done taking this summer camp in iMovie, I want to see who comes up with the best summer break vacation.
What I did this summer,
right,
type thing.
right. Who's gonna come up with the better one? So that is one course I signed up in OutSchool. My oldest daughter, I signed her up for a stock market course to where they're gonna play a stock market game. They get $100,000 in fake money, and they have to go research stocks, invest in stocks. And this course teaches them, how to look for stocks, when to buy, when to sell, the different type of stocks, different type of sectors, things of that nature. And then for my youngest daughter, she's into art. So I signed her up for a iPad art class. There's a specific app that, is pretty popular amongst,
Procreate?
Yes, Procreate. That's the name of it. So I signed her for a Procreate course, 1-day course to learn her how to, how to use the app and, actually how to make some art. So all that to say, not only am I just saying, oh, this is a cool thing I found, I'm actually signing my kids
You're
up.
using it.
Yep, exactly. So again, we'll leave a link in the show notes, but if you go to outschool.com, OUTSCHOOL.com, definitely if you have teenagers who are internet savvy, I'm pretty sure they have been, because they've been on their computers all year long. So they know how to do Zoom, they know how to do Office, they know how to do G Suite now. So, this is like ideal for those kids if you want to sign them up for something for the summertime and you are weary like I am about sending your kids out to summer camp. So definitely check that out. The second thing I wanted to do as far as the hookup is, this is something I didn't know. I don't know when this came up, but I was writing. I have an Apple Pencil, so I was writing something on my iPad in like handwritten notes, and I put a website, in the handwritten note. I put the website, whatever it was .com, and I noticed that in the Notes app, the Apple Notes app, I don't know if it was Apple Pencil specific or just generally writing using any stylus. Anytime you write out a website with a URL link, Apple Notes app will automatically turn that into a hyperlink that you can that you can actually tap, and then it'll actually take you to the actual website. So I thought that was pretty cool. Nothing special, but I just thought that was cool. I thought I'd let people know. Of course, you have to be in the Apple Notes app. I know there are some third-party note-taking apps out there. I'm not sure how they work, but I do know for this particular thing that I found, you have to be using the Apple Notes app, but I don't think it's Apple Pencil specific. So as long as you have any sort of stylus and you're actually writing a note in the Apple Notes app, you put a website, it'll actually hyperlink to that website. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. So other than that, I think that's it for this week's show. We ended kind of early. Like I mentioned, our Atlanta Hawks are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and our first game is tonight. So for those listening to us live via our Patreons, we definitely want to let you know that's what we're ending the show early for, to make sure we can catch the game. For those who are not part of Patreon, you're probably getting this information a couple days late. So you'll probably, if you go to our social media handles, we'll probably give you the scoop on whether or not the Hawks won their first Eastern Conference Finals game against the Milwaukee Bucks. So that does a good segue into supporting us. If you do want to support us, one way you can do that is by downloading, rate, and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Podcasts, and we're on Spotify. Like I said, engage with us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SnobOScast. Specifically with the Hawks information, you might want to follow me at Brother Tech and follow Nica at Tech Savvy Diva to get the latest Hawks news. You can also watch us on YouTube or at SnobOScast. Of course, be sure to do all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, get notified. You can reach us on the website. You can go to snoboscast.com, or you can reach out to us via email. We're at snoboscast@gmail.com. Finally, support our Patreon. For those who are watching us live, being a part of the Patreon gives you access to the live show, gives you access to the pre-show exclusive content that you won't find on the regular podcast, and you get access to our chat community for as little as $5 a month. Definitely, if you just want to give us a love offering, you can give us a donation via PayPal. So if you go to paypal.me/snobos, and you can give us a one-time love offering to support the show that way. So other than that, I'm going to get some leftover taco salad and get ready for this Hawks game. So until
Yep,
then,
yep.
we will see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.